Hola, hoy en Voces tengo el enorme gusto, el privilegio de tener como invitado al pintor alemán Helmut Helms, quien nos comparte en esta ocasión un material exclusivo grabado desde su estudio en Alemania, donde nos comparte reflexiones en torno a su pintura, su vida y el medio actual. Bienvenidos y muchas gracias.
Germany has an important pictorial tradition. What is happening in painting today?
Germany has always been a fertile ground for all kinds of painting. At present, painting overlaps and merges with digital techniques, photography, new abstractions or methods that use different materials. Since there are no longer any clear styles, but rather a multitude of movements and techniques that blend together, I can no longer identify any mainstream trend. A wide range of exhibitions in galleries, art associations, and museums offers visitors a broad spectrum of contemporary art. Over the past 10 years, the art scene has changed significantly through networking and the internet. Thanks to the speed of the internet, I can now see what a painter in New York or Paris is doing at this very moment. All this information, whether on Instagram or on artists and galleries' websites, also carries the risk of overlapped and oversaturation. The best thing to do is to go into the studio, do your work, and approach this flood of information gradually and in moderation.
Opa, what made you decide to become a painter?
Oh, what made you decide to become a painter? My interest in painting began very late, at 19 or 20. The interest in drawing had always been there. However, for various reasons, I only began studying art at the age of 30. The repeated visits to the Amsterdam museums with all their Rembrandts and Van Goghs left a deep and lasting impression on me. Visits to various museums and galleries in Germany were also formative experiences for my passion for painting. My self-taught abilities no longer met my own expectations, so I looked into courses and other opportunities to expand my knowledge and skills. I attended everything that was offered, but it was only the application and the successful entrance exam at the University of the Arts and Music in Bremen. That was the decisive step. Since then, there had not been a single day on which I have not painted.
How did you complete your education, and where and with whom did you study?
Yeah, I hope I remember all. From 1983 through 1989, I studied painting under Professor Karl Heinrich Greune at the University of Arts in Bremen. Most of my studies consisted of working in front of the canvas. 6 ambitious painters shared a large studio. The work itself, as well as the discussions among fellow students about our own projects or about art in general, were always very interesting and helpful. I often attended courses on various printmaking techniques and life drawing, which took place every Monday morning in the studio. Professor Groene would occasionally visit the studio and talk with students about topics from art history, current exhibitions, or about whatever was on the easels at the time. It was always a mix of information and advice. The program concluded with a presentation of the works I had created and selected, followed by a discussion with the examination committee, which consisted of several professors from the art faculty.
Opa, describe your working process.
In my work, it is important to me to bring together fantasy and reality into a single image. I take photos outside with possible motive, mostly landscapes. They serve me as a source of inspirations for a new painting. It is not the photo that is implemented one-to-one, but rather the photo is merely a stimulus or guide. If you will, new landscapes or my kind of landscapes arise from landscapes. The moment I intervene in the emerging landscape is a different point at every painting. I change things. I alter the heat of the horizon line. I swap the color of the sky, or I repaint entire regions of the picture. I strongly structure large parts of the painting with grasses, stalks, and various other plant structures. It is never a completely smooth surface, but from this described development emerges a typical rough and crusty relief-like surface. I never scrape anything off. The area is only reworked with another color, but always in such a way that the underlying surface remains visible and still plays a role. With this approach, it is inevitable to work on several paintings at once. To carry out the changes, I use a wide variety of tools: spatulas, absorbent paper, small branches, piping bags, hay, and small pebbles, whatever the studio has to offer. This tense, creative process is for me a daily adventure. I can often stretch it over a long period of time, 2 to 6 to 12 months, and sometimes longer. It happens that I have reworked paintings again 2 or 3 years after their supposed completion.
How sustainable is it to devote oneself exclusively to painting?
I find this question puzzling. It may also be that I do not quite understand it correctly. I'm sorry. At the moment, I can't be of any help to you or to myself with it.